kind of slow in the federal government right now as far as that goes, and several states have approved it, but we're just waiting for the federal government to say that we'll stay on daylight savings time. That's what a lot of people are wanting, so we're just waiting for that. So
Keep
we'll
our
get that
fingers
done one of
crossed.
these days.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, Veterans Day is on Thursday, so we have a few special guests today. We have Colonel Ricky N. Hagan and retired first, didn't write it down here right, Tommy Page. What'd you say you were?
I'm a retired first sergeant.
First sergeant, 24 years.
That's right.
And Staff Sergeant Scotty Turner is supposed to be with us. I'm not sure if he forgot or not, but we're going to talk about, they're both veterans, and we're just going to talk about being a veteran and what it was like being in the military, and of course being in the military now, and what's going on in the military now, and what it was like being in the military. So whichever one of you want to begin. I know Colonel Hagan, he done a little traveling this past week. When I called him that, invited him, I think he was at Gettysburg, wasn't that right?
That's correct, yes.
You were doing a little
I try to do a little traveling before Veterans Day each year for my own soul search, to keep in touch with why we're here and why we got here in this great country. And there's no place that you can't go in America and see history of how this great nation was founded, as opposed to how it's getting destroyed right now. Let's go Brandon, right? So it's that's what I was doing there. I went to Flight 93 to visit that memorial where the last plane went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and then went over to Gettysburg. So very, very humbling, very hallowed ground. When you think about Americans face to face, brother to brother, killing each other for something they believed in.
yeah. I know it's thinking about 9/11 and things that went down that day, and like you said, Flight 93. I guess there was a memorial there for that.
Yeah, exactly where the plane went down, and then they have a rock, a huge rock. I think it's like 17 tons for the family set aside where nobody else can go, only the family when they do the yearly dedication. But they had something really interesting in there. I've been to a lot of places all over the United States and the world. I mean, you don't have to just go to the United States. You're talking Normandy, you're talking about battlefields all over the world, that we've been engaged in. But they had these phone receivers there, and you could pick it up and put it to your ear, and it gives you a warning there about it might not be good for children. And you put it to your ear, and it has three voices of the last of three women that was on the plane right before it went down. The first one, she held it together pretty good. Now remember, these was all left on recordings, so they was retrieved to go into the museum by permission of the families. So the first one, she was held it together pretty good, but the second two, Randy, it'll rip your heart out. When you hear somebody knowing that they're going to die, in their last words, and they're crying and saying goodbye to their loved ones, and think about they was innocent. They done nothing. They was just on a flight, a regular flight, and they get murdered, and you hear their last words, and I'll be the first one to say there's tears rolled down my eyes. It was killer. So that's what me and Tommy and First Sergeant Page and the rest of us do. It's a volunteer army, so I mean that's what we do. That's to protect this great nation. Even though you burn the flag, even though you do the things that you do, our job is to protect the freedoms of this country. But it can't go both ways and then go one-sided, i.e. that we're protecting your freedoms to say what you want to say, but then when we want to say something, we can't say it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this, we're in this woke, whatever you want to call it, woke CRT world that we're in. I better caution myself here a little bit.
Right. Where were you at 9/11 that day?
I was teaching. I was assistant professor of military science at MTSU. I was teaching military history. I taught down there for 4 years. And I was on my way. I was in between Lebanon and MTSU University at Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and he'd come on the radio. I was in uniform. I taught cadets. I had 30 cadets, and I pulled off the side of the road and looked up in the air and just helpless. You know, you just want to grab your weapon. You want to do just throw your ruck on and let's go. And you're just so helpless. And I went to school and we had no class. We sat and talked, and I said, guys, there'll probably be 2 or 3 of y'all get deployed in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And so be prepared. These are all reserve cadets, National Guard cadets. And so the next week, one of them come in and said, sir, I got my orders. Good luck, goodbye. The next week, 2 come in and said, I got my orders. Good luck, goodbye. The next week, the 4th guy was me. So I said, good luck, goodbye.
Yeah.
My orders were for 18 months. The first order was for 18 months right off the bat, which that's unheard of. Most everybody gets 12 months, boots on the ground, first order, and mine was 18 months. So that's what happens when you listen to them and they talk about diversified training, and you get all this training, so it gets you free tickets to places.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when you first decided to join the military, and what made you decide to join the military?
18, December 13th, 1978, a day in infamy that you'll always remember when you got in the military, because it's a life changer. The reason I got in, I needed that discipline in my life. I was at a time in my life that I needed to grow up and change and refocus to where there's a small town. There wasn't a whole lot to do here, and it just seemed like every time you turn around, you can find trouble more than you can find good things. So the military was definitely, between that and the church, was definitely a life changer for me. So people like this guy here, First Sergeant Page, he's one that never give up on me when several of them put obstacles in my way, I guess you could say, to when I was going to officer school and trying to become an officer. And so I started as a private and worked my way up, and then went to officer candidate school, as opposed to which is what's called your ROTC lieutenant, where you get commissioned out of 4-year college. So quite a bit of difference.
Now, did you go into the National Guard first? Or?
I did. I started in the National Guard, and I switched to the Army Reserve, and then switched over to active duty. And from my tour, when I got first deployed in Iraq in 2004, from then on, I've been on active duty.
Tommy, where did you start out? National Guard?
I started out in 1969, Randy, I guess, getting in the National Guard. I got a letter, from the regular Army. I didn't much want to go to the National Guard, but my granddaddy sort of talked me into it. The Vietnam War was going on, and most everybody around here, they was the right age, that's where they was going. So there's an opening came up in the National Guard, and he said he thought I were to take it. So, I done that and stayed in there, I think, 8 years. Got out, and I stayed out about 4 years. Then I got back in again. That time I stayed, until I got 24 years in and retired. Of course, we was deployed in 1990. We was activated, for Desert Storm. It was 50 years to the day, I think, December the 9th, that they was activated, to go to Korea. It was an odd thing, that we go 50 years later, then we're activated again to go to, Iraq. And we stayed in full time. We was activated in regular Army for 6 months, Stayed over, I don't know, I think we just stayed in the country 90 days. The war was really fast, and, everything went well. We was back out and back home.
Now, you said there was an opening in the National Guard.
Yeah, it's hard to get them because, the Guard, was almost full all the time because a lot of people was getting into Guard, still going to regular Army, In my position that I am now, I was, a lot of people was dreading, thinking we might get activated, for the Desert Storm. But as my age and everything, and been trained all my life, in artillery. When I got that call that we was going to go, it sort of relieved me because that's what I always wanted to do. lot of people, would tell you, well, you don't want to do things like that. But that's what we was trained to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people here in Monroe County don't even realize, that this National Guard out here had a bad reputation years and years ago. It wasn't the same Guard that it was 50 years ago. You've got young, smart, intelligent men out there now that shoots rockets. That's not what it used to be. So they're highly trained, which I think maybe at one time was the best National Guard in the United States.
Correct.
But we don't run around and tell everybody what we do. We just do it, and now, one thing I want to say, we have lots of veterans in this county, and they've paid the price. It is a sacrifice being a veteran for your family, and they have a lot of stress on them when you're activated. They don't know what's going on when you're in another country. But and a lot of these veterans have things wrong with them, and they should apply for VA benefits. In Kentucky, Heather French, I think maybe she's the commissioner of Veterans Affairs now, and I have talked to her several times. In Kentucky, we have about $10 to $12 million of unclaimed benefits. Well, a lot of these veterans need to file a claim. It's a hard process of filing a claim because they make it so complicated. They don't want you to get anything, but you have served your country and you deserve that. And the thing about it is don't never give up on it, and just keep on doing the things you need to do. If you've been hurt or something's wrong with you, you need to be paid for it because it's not coming off it's coming off something that you have earned. Nobody's giving you nothing. You have earned it.
You know how many veterans we have in Monroe County exactly?
I'm not sure. Is there about 600 to 700, Colonel?
I would say more than that. And then to caveat something Tommy said, to be a soldier this day and time, or even when I got in, you got to be smart, Randy. I mean, you got to be smart even to pass the ASVAB test. I mean, they don't let just your average monkey off the street in. And these young men and women, when I was in Iraq, just thoroughly impressed. 18, 19 years old, handling a M60 machine gun or grenade launcher, and I mean with no fear whatsoever. And they knew their job. They knew their left azimuth and their right azimuth. They knew what to do, and we knew what to do. It's as leaders. Tommy is as leaders of, as an NCO, non-commissioned officer of soldiers. Me as an officer, field grade officer of all soldiers that I'm accountable for. You have to train the best, and you have to know that they're trained, and you treat them like they're your kids, because you want to bring them all back home. You don't want to bring them back to home in parts or in body bags. And then there's a whole other element to that Tommy sort of hit on is that the psychological effects of war. It's not like it's on television. It's nothing like that. The sounds, get up, watch a Tom Hanks Saving Private Ryan or something next time, and it looks so real to your average civilian that's watching a movie. But get up there close to the television and see if you can smell that burning body. You can't, can you?
Right.
You can't hear that scream of the last person that just lost their leg, or they're having they've got a sucking chest wound, blood spurting out like a volcano, knowing that they're going to die. You can't put that in a movie.
Right.
And then when you come back home, you can't leave it there. That comes with you. So you have. I'm so grateful and humble. I work for DIA and with CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, Central Intelligence Agency. I worked in clandestine covert ops, and I had 150 platforms under me. I've been all over the world. Everybody in the world that I've ever run across, you know where they want to come to?
United States.
America. They want to talk about America. What's it like in America? What's it like? And we so selfishly, daily, all of us included, we take all this for granted every single day. In Guyana, there's a saying that says, you don't know how precious a drop of water is until you have to carry your bucket. You understand what that means? Because they take a bath out of a bucket. So when you're coming up the mountain and going down to the river and carrying that bucket back up, you don't want to drop no water.
Right.
See, we don't have that problem here. the poorest person that you'll ever see. And I just made my route back down through Hazard and Harlan, and it's beautiful countryside, but it's got issues, poverty issues. But the poorest person in the United States is one of the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah. Understand.
And it's because whether you've been a combat soldier, peacetime veteran, or whatever, that these freedoms are provided for you. When we have elections and when we have democracies and we have things, you have your right to vote for whoever you want to, and I have mine, right?
Yeah.
And that's provided by a soldier.
And like you said, the veterans, come home and the ones that have really been in combat, they're struggling with, one thing comes to mind is PTSD.
I do. I speak,
Lots of them has that, Randy.
I speak all over the United States on it. I think maybe I've left you a DVD before.
Yes.
Traumatic brain injury goes along with that. I mean, you can't even fathom when some of these bombs go off. It 3 or 4 miles away, and it's so powerful that the percussion off of that, you can feel it's like a wave coming over you.
And I think about that. I'm sorry for
That's
interrupting
fine.
you, but just like you said, even just a say the 4th of July, when a firecracker goes off or something, that PTSD comes back to that veteran. Just a fireworks or something, can trigger that veteran. Because if they've not had any type of treatment or anything.
And that's very. I'm glad you really brought that up, because I that's what I do in teaching and speaking is, you have to identify your triggers. That stuff don't bother me anymore. It had to be an awful loud explosion to bother me. But the fact that you're coming up on me from behind just to put your hand on me and say, hey, Rick, that would bother me. Because you come in that space,
Right.
We call it the 3-foot space. Anything within the 3-foot space is my range. You're getting in my space. Anything outside that, I have no control over. I have no control over what Randy's going to do until he, comes around and tries to choke you or something.
Right.
And then you got to do something. But no fun intended. But it's serious. It's serious, and you have to. We're at 22 suicides a day in soldiers. You have horror stories, and here's one. Not to be proud of it all. It's a black eye on the military. But when you have young soldiers that kill their wives, take a shotgun and put it in their child's mouth, kill the whole family, and then turn around and kill herself. You think there's an issue there? There's an issue.
Yeah.
But when you see these guys and they've had so many kills, and this is my war. I can't even imagine being in Vietnam. Korea to me don't get nowhere near the attention that it deserves. And then you go back to World War II, World War I. These guys were gone 3 or 4 years, no communication back home, nobody to know who's dead, who's alive, is your wife still there, that kind of thing. And then go all the way back to Gettysburg, where I was at, and you're standing as close to me and you are, and them musket balls coming out that big. You ain't gonna, your life expectancy light is very dim.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah. A lot of people just don't appreciate, what the veterans have done for us and what's going on now in this day and time.
That's what I was going to say, Randy. Thursday will be Veterans Day. And if you've got somebody that served in your family, at least you can do is thank them for their service.
And I just want to reiterate right now today, on Thursday at the Extension office, they're going to have a thank you for all the veterans, and you're all invited at 6 p.m. to come out to a veterans dinner. So everybody come out to the 4-H. If you're a veteran, come out to the 4-H Extension office. And Susan Turner will be here after a while to talk about that, some other things going on. So if you're a veteran and families, come out to the extension office Thursday for Veterans Appreciation. I just want to throw that out there, and that's on Thursday. So
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
You said thank you, and Tommy did too. And that's all good. That's all fine. But I go through airports all the time. I have people ask me, what I say. It's like we're robotic or something. It's not just thank you. We're still human. You can talk to us. You can say hi, how you doing? Thank you for your service. Proud of that whatever. But it's not so standoffish, And you'll see you come through the airport in a uniform on, you got your gear, and it's like they're just like looking at you with their mouth open catching flies, and it's like, nobody's going to eat you or shoot you. We're here for you.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's not a job for everybody. I wasn't cut out to be a cake maker or a quilt maker and a doctor. That's all good professions, but you got to want to be a soldier. You got to want to be. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's not draft time now.
You have to love it.
Yeah. Now, are you still active? I mean, or what do you do now?
Not in the Army, 37 years there, but with DI, when once you're read on in the IC, the intelligence community, you never can get out. Here's a case in point. Just say Operation Neptune Spear was the operation to get Bin Laden, Geronimo. So if you're in the briefing, if you're in that, or you're part of the execution of that mission, and everything that's in this room, say this is a SCIF, everything classified, you have to talk in a SCIF, a secret compartmental information facility, somewhere where it's all classified. But now I give you classified information, and Randy's 50 whatever years you're old. You can't, until that's declassified, you can't talk about that, Randy. So you take it to your grave. You can't unclassify something in your mind. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you've seen it, been a part of it, executed it, you can't say, whoops, I didn't do that, I didn't see that, I didn't hear that. So you go to your grave with it.
Yeah.
They're serious in the IC. Or you can go your grave, or you can go Leavenworth. That's your choices.
Right.
You don't go around rubber lipping in local communications at Joe's pool hall about what's going on in with China and Taiwan or whatever.
You do a lot of traveling, don't you?
I do. I've been inside North Korea twice on the black side, so
Yeah.
I can say that now because I'm still alive.
Yeah. You was talking about the veterans and the money. Where and what do they have to do to sign up?
Well, if they've got some kind of problem, they think they've got this problem from being in their service, Randy, they need to see a VA, official or somebody, that can help them fill out a claim. This money really belongs to them. They're just not claiming it. It's what I was telling you about, $10 to $12 million unclaimed benefits each year in Kentucky. It's set aside that nobody's claiming. But if you've got something wrong with you, you need to be trying to get, some help and try to get what you have paid for. These
It would be nice. It would be nice, Randy, because we don't. And Tommy and I is actually in Burkesville a couple of weeks ago. They got a real nice veterans building over there. I don't know what's happened to us here. I don't.
They've even got one in Salina too.
It's unbelievable. The city park. It could be Veterans Park. Our county officials and our city officials, not just now but over the years. Why we don't have where's our veterans monument at? Where's our veterans park? Where's our veterans anything around here? It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And you would be surprised how many people that you associate with day in, day out, whether it's grocery store, church, wherever, how many people surrounding you in Monroe County are veterans.
Yeah.
And I don't know we've really dropped the ball here. We should have a veterans building. We should come together and like Tommy said, if you need to file a claim, if you're losing your hearing because you've been in an artillery unit all your life, You know, you shouldn't have to go to Glasgow Bowling Green, right? You know, what's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I know. I think it's been a couple of years ago. I had you on here, and we had a Veterans Affairs person here.
Mike
and,
Wilson, he was
and not just a month after that, I think he passed
Mike
away.
died. Yeah, we had an outstanding organization at the Southern Kentucky Veterans Organization. We even had people from the governor's office, senators, congressmen coming down and saying, "What are y'all doing?" And we're saying, "Well, you know, we cut through the red tape, we quit the crap, and we're helping soldiers. We're not gonna sit here and satisfy for it takes 60, 90, 120 days for a guy to get an answer." So we sort of kicked the door down, and it worked. I mean, they were standing in line. We was getting write-ups everywhere. We was getting TV exposure, and I mean, it really grew. But Mike was the ace. Mike was the ace.
Yeah. So now veterans in Monroe County have to go to what, Glasgow or Bowling Green, or?
Yeah, if you can. I mean, if you can find them, and you know, you still won't hear me say a lot of good things about the VA, because I took it upon myself to, and I won't call names, to help many veterans around here. Got one out of the nursing home that was draining their funds, you know, $6,000 or whatever out of the nursing home, and now he's home with his wife getting hospice care, and they got their money back, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it should not be this way. Tommy and I've got a friend over Birchville. His dad was a World War II veteran, had a bed knob. He got off of Hitler's bed in the Eagle's Nest. That's a big deal. That tells you, where the man was there. He laid over there in a nursing home. You know what he's wounded multiple times. You know what he was drawing for his VA compensation a month? $300. There's people if you're and you picture this now, how much is your arm worth to you a month?
Oh,
Can you put a price on it?
No.
Well,
You can go online and you can look at the VA compensation scale, and they'll tell you how much your legs worth, your arms worth, your eyes worth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think the max you can draw is like $3,000 or something. So my math tells me that's $36,000 a year. There's people out here drawing welfare and food stamps way more than a combat veteran's getting.
If you lose
What's wrong with that picture?
Yeah, if you lose a leg or you lose an arm in a combat situation, I think you get 40% VA disability. 40% VA disability if you lost your arm or leg or something is $540. I don't think there's too many people, would take $540 a month for their leg. Do you?
Definitely the guy, definitely the beady-eyed guy up there in Washington.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon. That's writing these rules.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't take $540 for his arm.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, COVID, they was racking in the money. The VA compensation scale didn't go up a dime.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're about out of time, and my next guest is here, I think. Anything y'all want to finish off with before I let you go? I appreciate y'all coming in.
Well, just thank a veteran on Thursday for their service.
Thank you, Randy, for having us and appropriating this time, and appreciate it.
We appreciate
and
coming out here.
Thanks for all the veterans that's come before us and paved the way.
Yeah.
And like I said, of course, it's only, you said there was how many veterans in Monroe County?
Well, I'd say we're closer to 1,000.
That's, from...
Plus, their families just paid a lot of sacrifices for them being veterans.
Exactly, and I mean, I don't think, I know our school system does some history, but, I think they need to really put more emphasis on
Well, I agree.
a lot of all the different wars.
It's got so bad, and Randy, and most around here and everywhere else, that most veterans don't even want to tell you if they are a veteran. That's how bad it is. We've got some of the most distinguished people in this county that's combat veterans with several medals, and none of them don't even want to talk about that. They don't even want you to know that.
Yeah, you really have to pull it out.
Yeah, they're not even going to talk about their service.
They don't give Purple Hearts and Bronze Stars and Combat Action
Silver Stars.
You're sitting up there you're sitting up here at the local hamburger joint.
Yeah.
They don't give them away.
Yeah. All right, guys, appreciate you coming out,
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
and we'll take a break. And we'll be back with